There are and were occasions when the Scottish Government, as we can see, was thinking politically. And of course it is the case that the SNP has a political mission, which is to achieve Scotland's independence, i.e. to destroy the United Kingdom. And it would be naive not to be aware that highly skilled politicians, including those at the top of the Scottish Government, might well see what they perceive to be political advantage at certain points. But I think it's important to recognise that while that did occur at certain points, the day-to-day management of the pandemic preoccupied them as it preoccupied other ministers. So it's a matter of proportion and a matter of precision rather than a broad assault of the kind that the question invited me to agree with.
Is your evidence a thinly veiled assertion that the First Minister of Scotland managed the pandemic in Scotland in order to further the cause of independence?
No, I think it is the case, though, that evidence that we have heard shows that the First Minister and those working for her at particular times were thinking politically. And again, in my own earlier evidence, I made it clear that I had and have respect for the immensely hard work put in by many in the Scottish Government and their dedication to keeping people safe. But this inquiry has heard and seen direct evidence of the Scottish Government thinking politically. And again, as I say, it would be naive to assume that people who had dedicated their whole life to the cause of Scottish independence would not at certain points see the political component to some of the decisions and some of the points that were being made. For people who believe in Scotland's constitutional future as an independent nation, supporters of the SNP and other parties and organisations aligned behind independence, it is necessary to prove that the United Kingdom is a dysfunctional entity, and therefore the SNP and its supporters will often, when dealing with a situation that is not perfect, say, it's a failure. This is a proof that the UK, as a constitutional entity, is broken. As I say, the differences of opinion that occurred between the UK government and the Scottish government on day-to-day management of the pandemic were no greater than differences between the Federal Chancellery in Germany and the Länder in Germany, or between the Élysée in France and the respective regional administrators. But while I have great respect for the integrity and professionalism of Scottish Government ministers when it came to the handling of individual pandemic choices, we have to bear in mind that the political aim of the SNP is to destroy the United Kingdom. And from time to time, they will make political points to that end.
So is the description that Boris Johnson and Nicola Sturgeon were not soulmates something of an understatement?
Understatement is sometimes the most effective means of communication. He undoubtedly had a degree of respect for the First Minister. However, it is also the case, as the inquiry has heard, my second point, that at times the First Minister expressed her disapproval of the way in which the Prime Minister was operating. And it was also the case that there were some people in our government and some people working for the Prime Minister who had a low or critical opinion of the First Minister. My view is that it was important to, in the interests of everyone, keep relations on as professional a footing as possible. And my observation is that in the formal settings where they interacted, that applied.